Let's talk about phishing emails. You see, I deliver a lot of cybersecurity awareness training, and something has been frustrating me very recently with phishing emails. You see, when I deliver cybersecurity awareness training, I often talk to members of staff about when was the last training they received, and is there anything from that training that maybe they didn't understand, or maybe something they were unsure of. I'm looking for, of course, companies that deliver cybersecurity awareness training not annually, but maybe a little bit more erratically. Sometimes companies deliver their training based on their audit schedule, and that can be a bad sign. And also, sometimes cybersecurity awareness training is either outdated, or that staff member maybe misunderstood something or conflated ideas and has left the training with a misunderstanding. So try and find out about those at the beginning of the session so I can help those staff members better understand those aspects of cybersecurity. And a very, very common example of this is how much HTTPS helps you. Now, HTTPS, or the protection mechanism that it uses, transport layer security, is great. And transport layer security will protect your connections to websites from being eavesdropped upon. The problem is an awful lot of cybersecurity awareness training will mislead staff into believing that they can trust HTTPS links. And of course the problem here is, if I create a malicious website and I protect it with HTTPS, your connection to that malicious website will be uninterrupted, it will not be eavesdropped upon, but that doesn't tell you anything about the trustworthiness of my malicious website. And very often cybersecurity awareness training doesn't cover those details, or maybe moves too quickly for staff members to understand them, leaving staff members to think if an email contains a HTTPS link, then it can be trusted. This is related to another problem that I see with a lot of awareness training, where it has an over-reliance on some indicators of phishing, in particular things like poor spelling and poor grammar. Now that is true. We have stereotypes like 419 scams that are phishing emails containing poor spelling and grammar. But that isn't all phishing emails. Phishing emails may have good spelling and good grammar, and if you put too much focus on those aspects, staff members who receive one of those phishing emails might not be alerted to the fact that it could be malicious. And one final thing is an over-focus on malicious links and malicious attachments to emails. Now, it is true that we should teach staff to be cautious of web links. I don't subscribe to the idea that a user should be able to take down an entire organization just by clicking a link, which is how some people talk about phishing attacks. But yeah, we should teach them to be cautious around unexpected links or links to sites that could be malicious in general. So that is worth paying attention to. But an over-focus on that area can lead people to believe that if an email doesn't contain a link or an unexpected email attachment, then it can be trusted. When in actuality, cybercriminals or social engineers could build up a rapport over several emails to a staff member and then could convince them to click a link, open an email attachment, or even perform that scenario without requiring those actions, simply asking in the body text of the email for the staff member to disclose some information or coerce them into performing an action on the attacker's behalf. So cybersecurity awareness training around phishing is very often pretty weak, and those are just some examples of the poor cybersecurity awareness training that I have seen previously. So it's worth, if you're doing security awareness training, at least following up with staff members to see if they understand the specific areas and how certain protection mechanisms actually help them. The fact that HTTPS is great and protects their communications online, but doesn't tell them that a website is trustworthy, that kind of thing. Or it's important to make sure that your modules don't get conflated. Perhaps it's a good idea to have lots of shorter modules focusing on a single area, as opposed to a single chunk of cybersecurity awareness training where things might get blurred between. You've got options. I'm going to leave that up to you as to what you decide is best for your organization, but watch out for those things. An over-focus on poor spelling and grammar within phishing emails, an over-focus on malicious links and email attachments, and really scenarios that don't reflect how things have changed. A lot of the cybersecurity awareness training I see focuses on things like your bank account has been locked and doesn't go in to talk about the range of scenarios that could impact an organization, or targeted scenarios, things like that. So just some things to think about for your cybersecurity awareness training, and in particular, phishing protection.